Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with a very different video compared to my previous ones, which were mostly, well, all of them were crochet vlogs. And the reason for that is I've taken a bit of a break from crocheting. If y'all saw my last video, I had a bit of like some sort of allergic reaction to the yarn I was using, and so I just took like a bit of a hiatus with crocheting. And so in the meantime, I've been looking into other hobbies, and so the hobby has been reading. I've been on a very big reading kick, and which is great because at the start of the year I had said I was going to read 23 books for 2023, but then life happened, life being finishing undergrad, graduating undergrad, moving back home, getting settled in, post-grad life, job searching, etc, etc. And so now that it's October, I'm like, oh, the year's ending soon, and I'm not quite at my goal. I'm a little bit behind. And so to make up for that, I decided I was going to embark on a readathon. I've been seeing quite a bit of creators do this, so I was like, okay, let me do this too. Only mine is a little different in that I had originally was going to do 12 hours across 2 days to make up for the 24 hours that I've seen most people do. But after the 12 hours on the first day, I was like, yeah, that's it for me. I'm just going to do the 12-hour readathon. And I also did 30-minute breaks every 3 hours just to help with avoiding burnout. And so the 3 books I read for this challenge were Black Girls Must Die Exhausted by Jayne Allen, All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven, and Honey and Spice by Bolu, Babalola. I hope that I'm pronouncing names incorrectly. If I'm not, I sincerely apologize. And so Black Girls Must Die Exhausted and All the Bright Places I read as audiobooks through the Libby app. And then I read Honey and Spice as an ebook through the Libby app, which I read on my brand new Kindle. And so yeah, how I'm organizing this video is that I vlogged throughout my Saturday completing the readathon. However, I didn't do much talking, so you're gonna see like a little bit of me reading, and then present me day after the readathon, me commenting on what I did, what I thought, and things like that. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this challenge as much as I did, and let's get on into it. Alright, so during the first 3 hours, I read Black Girls Must Die Exhausted. I had started on 37% and had moved up to 82% by the end of the 3 hours, which is a 45% increase. And I had started the book before the challenge, which is why I started at 37% as opposed to 0%. And all throughout the book, well, in that particular section, all I could think about was how I related so much to the protagonist named Tabitha, in that she was living her life very much by the book, checklists off, checking things off as she went, you know, the typical milestones that are expected of a type of person, and then she experiences something that sort of throws away the entire life plan, and now she sort of has to rework how to live life after that. And that's really something that I can relate to, especially after the outbreak of COVID in 2020, and how even now, as we are still trying to live with COVID and sort of adjust to a new normal, I still find myself really trying to, I guess, live life, because the life I live now is very different from the life I envisioned for myself before the pandemic had started. And in that 3 hour time span, I had also redid my bookshelf, which is something I'm really happy about because I've been feeling like my bookshelf has been a little decluttered lately, especially with the mix of like K-pop and books. And so basically I pulled the K-pop albums down so that way I could like show more of it, especially this BTS proof album, because it was on its side originally and I just feel like it looks so much better standing up. And I moved like the taller books down to the bottom, which is mostly like textbooks for my undergrad days, and then the shorter books are up on the top. And really my mind was all over the place as I neared the 3-hour mark, and I think it's most likely because of the multitasking I was doing at the time. So like I had my audiobook going, but I was also taking notes on a crochet pattern because I was like, let me crochet during this. And so taking a 30-minute break was very much needed. I'm glad I did that. And yeah, I had eventually listened to audiobooks without headphones because, you know, I was wearing Beats and they can really squeeze your ear, and I didn't want like sore ears, otherwise I wouldn't be able to get through the challenge. So yeah, at some parts throughout the video, you'll see me with my headphones off, but trust me, I'm still listening, I'm just not using the headphones. Alrighty, so in hours 4 through 6, I finished Black Girls Must Die Exhausted and started all the bright places. I got from 0 to 32%, and I will be sure to include my ratings at the end of the video of all the books that I managed to get through in this challenge as well. Okie dokie, hours 6 through 9. So I read more of All the Bright Places. I got from 32% to 87%, a 55% increase. This 3-hour stretch passed by a lot faster than the previous two, and I think it's because during the 3 to 6 period, I had like took a quick pause to help out with things around the house, and so once I got to hours 6 and 9, I wasn't dealing with any distractions and I was really locked in. And I think at this point in the book, the chapters were shorter, we were really moving with the plot, and so I was able to zoom through chapters much quicker in this time span. And so with this book, I really don't have much to say on it out loud, simply because it does cover some pretty sensitive topics. But I will say that this is a book that's been on my TBR since 2020, after I had watched the Netflix film adaptation, and so it's really nice to be reading it now in 2023, because my brain still remembers little details here and there about the book. And it's just interesting to see how the film and the book, while they are essentially the same, they differ in between the two versions. To hours 9 through 12. I was reading more of All the Bright Places. I actually finished All the Bright Places, and I will say that my feelings for the book definitely got stronger as I neared the end, and it was really just a good reminder to not let my emotions fester and to speak up whenever I have something that's on my mind. Otherwise, the emotions can consume me, and that's not what I want for myself, especially if they're negative emotions. And the author's note at the end, I don't know if that's included in like the physical copy, but it was in the audiobook version, and it really just gave me a new way to look at the book, and I was really appreciative that Jennifer had put that in. And if you haven't read the audiobook, I recommend that you do. However, do look up trigger warnings beforehand. So that's what I have to say about that. Once again, I will be providing ratings at the end, and in the remaining part of the last 3-hour stretch, I had started Honey and Spice. I had gone from 0 to 38%, which really surprised me because I thought because I wasn't listening to it, I was going to move through a lot slower. Just zooming through it, mostly because I think it has to do with I was really trying to get this challenge done because I was getting really sleepy. Like, I underestimated how much brain power this reading challenge would take. And yeah, I love the pop culture references that are sprinkled in throughout the book. It reminds me of Love Radio by Ebony Liddell, which is a book I read not that long ago that I really enjoyed. Overall, the 12-hour readathon was a really fun challenge. I'm glad I did it, and I definitely see myself doing this in the future. And I'm especially glad that I had adjusted it to my needs and not going based on what everybody else was doing, because, you know, every reader is different, every person is different. And so I think that was a really good idea that I had thought of in planning this. And I'm going to pop the ratings right here in this section of all the books. Granted, I'm only rating 2 of the books because I did not finish Honey and Spice, and so I can't provide a rating on something that I haven't finished. And yeah, it'll be right here somewhere. Editing me will figure it out for sure. All right, and so that's it, everyone. Thank you for watching this video, especially if you stuck around to the very end. I don't know how long this is going to be, but either way, I hope you enjoy it, and I look forward to seeing y'all in the next one. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.